What the heck? Get in jail. Get in jail. Hi. Actually, nobody's probably gonna be here for the next 5 minutes. But I started because I was too lazy to go behind the just starting screen. Because usually when I'm in a just starting screen, I walk around the house and I kill time. Because I don't like waiting. Hi, Maddie! Congrats! What just happened? Did you see that? Did my check-in moved again? Na, 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 na. Widget alerts. Toggles. Set a raid gacha. Why does the gacha move all the way over there? Huh? Oh my god, hi, Usebox. First one, you're not the first one. But you're close enough. Hi, hello. I don't know if Ven's gonna come today. Because Ven usually comes... Ven knows that I stream Warrior Cats on Wednesday, and today I didn't. And I forgot yesterday. Ooh. That's why I announced it in the chat, but like, or in the server, but... Guys. Oh. I ordered compression knee braces for work last night at 3 a.m. because my knees were hurting me. Warrior Cat Thursday! And I paid extra for same-day delivery, and they just shipped it now, so... Better arrive. It better arrive. That's always something that I wanted to know. If you pay for same-day delivery and it's like crazy warm money, what happens if it doesn't deliver? I mean, like, I know like delays happen, but do you at least get like slightly refunded? Like, oh dang, it didn't come. Here's normal shipping costs. Oh, I found out that crumble is a thing today. The cookies? Crumble cookies? I found out because Dunn said that he really liked it. And then, yay, Ben, you're here! Hi! I was worried that you were gonna miss it because I forgot yesterday. I was nose deep in a book. But what book are you reading? But also you still check. And also, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, crumble! So Dan was talking about how he really likes crumble cookies. And Seren was like, that's the grossest thing ever. Everyone I know hates crumble cookies. And I Googled it, and we have it in Canada, but I guess there's so few of them. It's hard to get them. But now I really want one. But it doesn't make sense to get only one, and if I don't like them, or if they're like... Okay, so here's the thing. Seren says they're gross because they're too sweet. And I am like a sweet connoisseur. Right? And Seren was like, it's so sugary, you can't taste anything but the sugar. Yeah, that can happen. But because I'm a sugar connoisseur, I can taste the dimensions within the sugariness. Sometimes you can get like a good one, you know? Ring ring, hello? Ring ring, hello? Ring ring, hello? So that's kind of like what I'm at. But again, like, what if I get over... Okay, wait. So here's the thing.
It's cheese o'clock somewhere.
Cheese o'clock somewhere. If I have to go to the store to get it, right? Because if I order it, then it doesn't make sense to spend that much money to order an entire... Oh my gosh, wait, that just reminded me. There's a giant cookie, like a place that sells giant cookies really close to my house. Maybe I'll order one. I'm gonna look it up. But anyways, it doesn't make sense to only get one if I'm gonna deliver it here, because you'd have to spend so much money for just one cookie. But if I get more than one, I'm not gonna be able to eat them in one setting because they're so sugary, and even I have a sugary tolerance. I can't eat so much sugar at a time. I need broccoli in between. So I won't be able to eat them all at once, but then they get stale, and then they're not as good, and then you're like, this is a waste. So that's my struggle. If I'm ever in town, I guess I can go get them, but like... I'm hot. I need a fan. It's hot in my room. It's hot today. Ah! The wind hurt my eyeball. Cookie place. Okay, let's go look. I'm gonna look up the cookie place. Cheese? Wait, I should just get Uber. So I Ubered to work, and I finally paid for Uber One or whatever, because I'm like, well, that makes sense. To cheese work. And it makes sense to do that, so now I can benefit in other ways too. Cookie. Eats. Cookie. Is this it? Oh my god. Crumble. It's on here. The flavors this week are... What are they this week? Too much effort. Also too far away. Gourmet cookies. But this isn't it. Also, guys, how far away do you consider far away? Like, if you're ordering something online, how... The pie hole? Yo. How far away would you say is too far away to order on, like, an Uber Eats thing? Oh my god. To die for banana cream. Combination of fresh sliced bananas, banana-infused pastry cream topped with fresh whipped cream, house-made caramel sauce, and crumbled banana bread, all in a graham crust. It's truly to die for. Oh. Key lime pie. Oh no. Oh my god, this apple pie looks so good. This isn't fair. I'm gonna cry. Assorted mini pie pack. Okay, would I rather get a pie or would I rather get a giant cookie? But I can't find the giant cookie anymore. Oh my god, Jan's house? Creamy sticky rice wraps. I love sticky rice wraps. I haven't had one in like forever. Where the heck is this cookie shop? Maybe it was only on DoorDash. I ordered before. I love everybody because I love you. Cookie. 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 It's not here. Maybe it only works as like an add-on? Like it's specifically only an add-on? Because I know I had it as an add-on. Why do I have a pizza in my cart? cheesecake has the name cheese. Is it made of actual cheese? Yeah. There's cheese in cheesecake. Cream cheese. Which is a type of cheese. Yeah. Right? Yummy. Scrumptious. What the heck? Have you seen an anteater's nose recently? Ooh, pre-game hero swamp. Saw something terrible just now? It's a horse with giant feet, but they're human feet. So it's rough. Okay. Okay. We're gonna start reading now, I think, because why waste time? We gotta harness the power. So, you're the cutest. Hi. In the Ultra Mega Universe Galaxy Multiverse. Oh my gosh, even cuter than you, but you're a baby duck. That's hard to beat. There should be more duck VTubers. I'll be the first to admit it. And also, I should be them. Okay, so it's been like 3 weeks since Warrior Cat Wednesday. We're on chapter 6. Oh gosh. A ducktuber, yeah! I don't remember what's happening. So Violet Kit and Twig Kit are separated in Shadow Clan and Thunder Clan. Violet Kit is having a hard time because everyone's bullying her because she's not an actual Shadow Clan cat. Also, the Shadow Clan, like, life dynamics are really weird because, like, all the apprentices don't respect their elders and they're kind of like, they're like real teenager type cats. And their medicine cat died and they didn't have a medicine cat apprentice, so Leafpool is temporarily with Shadow Clan to help train a new apprentice, and that apprentice also wasn't technically chosen to be Shadow Clan Medicine Cat apprentice. It was just like the leader being like, all right, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, this one, in some new kits. And I think that kit doesn't really want to be a medicine cat, which is understandable. Like, it's different if it's like J-Paw didn't want to be one, and Alderpaw didn't really want to be one at first, but they are definitely chosen. So that's they have had a dream. They had dreams. I mean, J Feather's like crazy. So the only medicine cat that wasn't quote unquote chosen was Mothwing. But she's like cool. He's just a little crazy. He's a little psycho. I love Jay Feather. I like how he was like, I need to be a medicine cat. Like, he demanded it. He was like, there's no other option. I have to be one. These dead cats are haunting my dreams. This is the only way I can cope. So anyways, Leafpool is healing, or you're training some cat from Thunder or Shadow Clan, and I don't know who it is because I wasn't paying attention. Because Alderpaw feels bad for Twig Kit and Violet Kit, he's been, I think they only did it twice, maybe once, but he and Neilpaw met up and brought the kits with them so that they could play together. And after that, Needlepaw was like, you know what? You're cool, Violet Kit. Actually, we're going to hang out and be besties. And So at least Violet Kit has like that, like one friend, but Needlepaw's kind of sketchy. She was really good in the first book, but now she's like a little like, I don't know. She has been in cahoots with the Gully Cats, the evil rogues that lived in the Sky Clan Gully, and they followed them back home to the forest. And now, in the previous chapter, Violet Kit thought that they were all going out to visit Twig Kit, but actually, Needlepaw took her and who was it? Needlepaw took her and Sleekpaw to meet up with the rogues. Oh yeah, and ThunderClan has been sniffing the rogues, like they realize like the rogues are in the forest, and I'm pretty sure they sent out. Oh yeah, and they did fight with WindClan briefly. And oh yeah, and One Star lost a life. And a cat died. That's right. I forgot. So they know that the rogues exist. ThunderClan set out like cats to be like, hey, ETW, they're rogues. And they're kind of strong. What else? That's pretty much it. Needlepaw kind of like went up. I'm pretty sure Needlepaw has a huge thing for like this bad cat. This bad cat. This rogue cat. She wants to break the rules. So that's what she's doing. And apparently also Sleekpaw. Maybe the other apprentices too? I don't know. But Violet Kit's like, why? Why would you go against Shadow Clan? Aren't you supposed to like be with them? And then they're like, well, you're not even Shadow Clan, so don't you want to like side with us here? And then she was like, oh, do they hate me? Something like that. Wait, let me read the last sentence. Violet Kit's thoughts whirled. Needlepaw sounded so certain. Was she right? They were all just cats. Perhaps the clans were wrong. They acted like rogues were no better than foxes just because they came from outside the clan. But she's not really one of us, is she? As she remembered Ratscar's words, a thought flashed through her mind, chilling her to the bone. Is that how they all see me? She stared at the rogues. Does ShadowClan think I'm like them? Okay, so she's like, they think of me as a rogue. And the reason, the reason why we have the kits in the first place is because we think they're part of a prophecy. Oh my god, the Denki Kaminari just followed me on YouTube. Crazy. Okay, so let's begin. It's been 3 weeks since I read, so I'm a little not good at it right now, probably. I did read a little bit on stream, but it's different when it's Warrior Cats versus like a Minecraft diary entry written by a really good writer. Hi, mechanic. Okay, as usual. I guess not as usual. I used to say I wouldn't reply if like there's a raid or anything, but I think I'll do that now. Feel free to react to what's happening. I'll chat with you as well. I'll react and yeah. Anyways. Chapter 6. Wait. The nature sound isn't on. Properties. My nature songs. Can you hear it? Yeah. Chapter 6. Twig. Nature. The immersion. It's the immersion. Twig Kit swallowed the last morsel of vole and licked her lips. She was bored, and even though the sun was high, it was chilly in camp. Did Alderpaw need some help? She knew Jayfeather would be irritated to see her again, but she'd given up worrying about his grumbling. She guessed he enjoyed it. She got to her paws, skirted the clearing, and headed towards the medicine den. As she passed the camp entrance, she could still smell the scent of WindClan around the thorn tunnel. Emberfoot and Oatclaw had left at dawn. In the days since the fight, Jayfeather and Alderpaw had cared for them as though they were clanmates. Twigkit had been proud to help, fetching moss from their nests and bringing fresh kill from the pile. Alderpaw had even let her mix herbs once when Jayfeather was out of the den. As soon as the WindClan warriors' wounds were healed enough for them to travel, they'd return to their camp. Twigkit had guessed by the prickling of their fur as they talked of going home that they were worried about their clanmates. The fight with the rogues had unsettled them. It had unsettled everyone. Ramblestar had been sending out larger patrols to hunt and insisted that borders be checked day and night. "Twigkit!" Lilyheart called from outside the nursery. She had settled in a patch of weak sunlight. "Aren't you sleepy? You were up before dawn. Come and have a nap." Twigkit flicked her tail. "No thanks," she mewed back. "I'm fine." She didn't feel tired at all. She'd done nothing all morning apart from wander around the camp, nosing through ferns in hope of catching a frog, and practicing balancing on a fallen beach. Larkkit, Leafkit, and Honeykit were outside the nursery too, dozing lazily beside their mother, the cool leaf-fall wind ruffling their fur. Twigkit felt a pang of frustration. She knew from experience that it was pointless asking them to play with her. Even when they agreed, they'd run so fast and got bored so quickly that she always felt disappointed. She preferred hanging out with Alderpaw. At least she felt like she was useful in the medicine den, despite Jayfeather scowling at her like she was an unwanted flea. Briarlight loved playing moss ball with her, and it was good exercise for the crippled she-cat. Perhaps she could play with her now. She padded past the warrior's den, scanning the camp for a good-sized scrap of moss. "Do you really think she's the cat that StarClan was trying to tell us about? The one who'll clear the sky?" Rosepetal's mew drifted through the prickly wall of the den and made Twigkit stop. Who was Rosepetal talking about? Mousewhisker answered her, a yawn in his mew. "For a special cat, she's pretty ordinary." "I guess she is young," Rosepetal conceded. "But nothing has changed since she arrived. Nothing's gotten better. In fact, things have gotten worse with the rogues coming." Zatsu! Hi, Zatsu! Good night. I'll read. This is your bedtime story. Sweet dreams. Ooh, I lost my spot. "I guess she is young," Rosepetal conceded, "but nothing has changed since she arrived. Nothing's gotten better. In fact, things have gotten worse with the rogues coming." "You're right. Besides, if she was special, wouldn't StarClan have sent more of a sign?" Mousewhisker's nest rustled. "I know they were found in the shadow, but that doesn't seem like enough." Twigkit leaned closer to the den wall and pricked her ears. "They're talking about me and Violetkit. Perhaps the prophecy was about something else." Rosepetal meowed thoughtfully, "And finding Twigkit and Violetkit was a coincidence," Mousewhisker concluded. "Like you said, Twigkit does seem pretty ordinary. And until she learns to hunt, she's another belly for the clan to fill." Rosepetal sighed. "Let's just hope Leafbear is mild. Heavy snow means scarce prey. There may not be enough for us to get through to New Leaf." "Another belly to fill?" Anxiety prickled through Twigkit's pelt. "Why don't you have pet redeem? This isn't over." I think I used to, right? I'm too lazy to set it up. And what did they mean by ordinary? Had the clan only taken her in because they believed she was part of the prophecy? Her breath caught in her throat. What if she wasn't special? Would they ask her to leave? If there wasn't enough prey during Leafbear, they might. She imagined wandering alone through the forest, thick snows piling between the trees, a cold wind slicing through her fur. She could picture foxes watching from the undergrowth, their hungry gazes sharpening as they saw her. How would I survive alone? Outside the nursery, Larkkit rolled over sleepily and stretched. If only I were clan-born. They couldn't throw me out. She lifted her chin determinedly. I have to prove that I'm special. Pelt twitching nervously, Twigkit hurried towards the medicine den. She pushed through the brambles. Alderpaw turned, his eyes rounded with worry as he saw her. Is something wrong? Twigkit forced her fur to smooth and blinked at him innocently. No. She wanted to run to his side and feel his comforting warmth against her. She wanted to ask him if she was special and hear him tell her that of course she was. But he was standing beside Jayfeather. Look at this, Alderpaw. Jayfeather mewed curtly, ignoring Twigpaw's arrival. Twigkit's arrival. Can you see any signs of infection? The medicine cat was inspecting a cut on Birchfall's paw, and Twigkit knew that he wouldn't be pleased if she interrupted. Alderpaw peered closely at the warrior's pad. It looks like a clean cut. How should we treat it? Jayfeather asked. Cobweb, Alderpaw replied. Jayfeather lifted his gaze sharply towards his apprentice. Just cobweb? Irritation edged his mew. Alderpaw shifted his paws, his eyes flitting nervously towards the herb store. Just because there's no infection now doesn't mean there won't be one later. Jayfeather meowed. We could wash in some marigold pulp before we dress it, Alderpaw suggested hopefully. Go and fetch some then. Jayfeather turned his attention back to Birchfall's paw, turning it gently with his own to closer examine the warrior's pad. As Birchfall winced, the brambles swished beside Twigkit. Whitewing limped in, pain darkening her gaze. I have an ache in my side, she murmured. Jayfeather dropped Birchfall's paw and hurried towards her. When did it start? He sniffed the white she-cat's breath, then ran his muzzle along her flank. Around dawn, after I'd eaten a mouse. Did it come on suddenly? Jayfeather asked. Quite sharply, but it's been getting worse all morning. Have you vomited? Jayfeather pressed his paw to Whitewing's flank. She gasped with pain. Well? He patted around Whitewing and pressed her flank to the other side. No, she rasped. I don't feel sick. Come here, Alderpaw. Jayfeather flicked his tail. Alderpaw stared across the medicine den, a bundle of marigold in his mouth. Hurry up! Jayfeather snapped. Alderpaw dropped the marigold and hurried towards his mentor. Press here. Jayfeather pointed to Whitewing's flank. Alderpaw lifted his paw slowly and pressed gently against her pelt. Harder, Jayfeather ordered. She won't even feel that. Twigkit saw Alderpaw's eyes flash with trepidation as he pushed harder into Whitewing's side. Whitewing winced. Sorry. Alderpaw mewed quickly. Jayfeather huffed. If you apologize to a patient every time you hurt them, you'll never get anything done. Now, what did you feel? It feels hard beneath her pelt, Alderpaw answered. Trapped wind. Jayfeather turned back to Birchfall. She ate her mouse too quickly. How should you treat it? I know! Twigkit leaned forward excitedly. She remembered Honeykit's bellyache. She willed Alderpaw to remember. Alderpaw stared helplessly at Jayfeather. She's got a fart! Hi, Yomi! Or burp. But Alderpaw stared helplessly at Jayfeather. Chervil root! Twigkit blurted. See? I am special! Jayfeather's whiskers twitched irritably. Chervil is for nausea, he snapped. Trapped wind needs water mint. And no one was asking you. If you must hang around the den, then keep quiet. Twigkit shriveled beneath her pelt, hot with shame. Alderpaw brushed past her as he hurried towards the medicine store. Don't listen to him, he whispered. Twigkit hardly heard him. Why is Jayfeather so mean to me? It's okay. Jayfeather's mean to everyone. You read this book? Yomi, are you a warrior cat? I mean, person? You're not a cat. You're not a cat. Another one? Another one? Yeah! Do you still catch up with it? Hi, Desert Fox! We've been reading it for like over 2 years. Yeah, we will! I guess that's 2 days from now? Wait, is today Friday? No, tomorrow's Friday. We started. You can see here. That's the death toll. We've been counting deaths since we started reading. We finished Into the Wild, New Prophecy, Power of Three, Omen of the Stars, Dawn of the Clans, and we finally started Vision of Shadows. This is the second book. Have you read up to the recent ones? I haven't read since... I never finished Omen of the Stars. So Dawn of the Clans and A Vision of Shadows and the end of Omen of the Stars is all brand new to me. So this is like brand new. But I read it a lot when I was a kid too. And Ven also hasn't read A Vision of Shadows. New territory. like a warrior camp territory. Yeah. Oh, did you see the artist for the Polish book? Yes, I did! I'm so proud of them. Good for them. There was a reason why they blew up. Hi, Bunny. I don't know. I just joined. I had my talent fashion show yesterday. Anyways, how are you? You had a fashion show yesterday? Yo, what did you show off? Okay, I'm gonna keep reading, but so I'll reply to you guys whenever I get another break. The last one I read was Dawn of the Clans. That makes sense. Yeah, that was with Greywing. Greywing? Yeah. The cats from the beginning. I'm Meow. 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 She stiffened as a thought flashed in her mind. He talks to StarClan. Have they told him I'm not special? There are only a few leaves left. Alderpaw reached deep into the crack and hooked out one paw full of dusty stems. Then we'll have to collect more. Jayfeather meowed briskly, but not today. It's far too late. Give Whitewing all the water mint we have, then chew up some pulp for Birchfall's cut while I gather some fresh cobwebs. As Jayfeather padded from the den, Twigkit watched Alderpaw drop the dusty leaves beside Whitewing. They were large and pale. She tried to imagine what they'd look like when they were fresh. A thought struck her. I know how to prove I'm special. I'll fetch more water mint from the lake. Then the clan will see how clever and useful I am, and they won't want to get rid of me. Her heart lifted like an escaping butterfly. I'll see you later, she called to Alderpaw. You don't have to leave. Alderpaw looked at her apologetically. Jayfeather doesn't mean half the things he says. Twigkit lifted her tail happily. That's okay. I have something important to do. What? Alderpaw blinked at her curiously. Twigkit hesitated. I have to find a new feather for Violet Kit, in case you visit Leafpool again, she mewed hurriedly. Alderpaw scooped up a mouthful of marigold and began chewing. Good luck. His mew was muffled. Thanks. Twigkit nodded politely to Whitewing and Birchfall and backed out of the den. She bumped into something soft. Look where you're going. Jayfeather's hiss made her jump as she got tangled in his paws. Brushing her away, he ducked into the medicine den. Twigkit stared after him crossly. Next time you're going to be happy to see me. She crossed the clearing, scanning the camp nervously. Raystripe was dozing outside the elder's den. Honeykit was crouched beside the ferns nearby, clearly watching for frogs. Lilyheart had disappeared. She must be resting in the nursery. Ramblestar and Squirrelflight were sharing a mouse on the high ledge, while Leafkit and Larkkit were inventing battle moves in the clearing. Poppyfrost, Ambermoon, and Snowbush were watching them. The other cats must be in their dens or out on patrol. Twigkit decided as she padded towards the thorn barrier. She avoided the camp entrance. It was too risky. Instead, she ducked behind the warrior's den. Out of sight of the clearing, she searched the bottom of the thorn barrier for a gap. She could see a patch where the branches didn't twine so thickly on the ground. She squeezed through, wincing as thorns scraped her pelt. Eyes screwed tight shut. She pushed forward until she burst free. I made it! Quickly, she checked the leafy rise outside camp. I'm outside! The trail was clear, and she hurried along it, her ears pricked for patrols. She veered off, then ducked between the bracken stems crowding the slope. Excitement fizzled in her paws. Ordinary kits weren't meant to leave camp, but she was special, and everyone would know it when she returned with a huge bundle of watermint. Jayfeather was going to be so grateful. He'll never be mean to her again. And Rose Petal and Mouse Whisker would be embarrassed if they'd ever suggested she wasn't special. She nosed her way out of the break-in and stared across a wide glade where the forest dipped down towards a dried stream bed before rising towards a wall of brambles. Which way was the lake? She paused, opening her mouth and letting forest scents wash over her tongue. Fear clutched her heart as unfamiliar smells crowded her. What was that sharp scent? Fox? Owl? Rogue? She glanced around, her heart thundering in her ears. Something small skirted across the stream bed. Above, leaves fluttered in the chilly breeze, and branches creaked as they swayed. Twigkit lifted her chin. I'm special, she reminded herself, feeling a little less special than she'd had in camp. I have to prove it, or they'll make me leave. Her belly tightened. I have to find the lake. Ignoring the fear fluttering in her chest, she padded down the slope and hopped over the dry stream bed. She felt sure she'd be able to see if she was going in the right way, if she could make it past the brambles. She climbed the rise, and squeezed through a gap in the prickly branches. As she emerged on the other side, the scent of water streamed over her muzzle. The breeze carried lake scent. It must be lake scent. She could smell wet stone and earth and imagined a large pool, water lapping at its edges. In front of her, the forest sloped downwards. Were those ripples sparkling in the distance? She broke into a run, zigzagging between trees and scrambling over roots. Her paws slipped on the fallen leaves, and she tumbled clumsily into a patch of nettles. Stings sparked through her nose, and she leaped backwards, blinking away the pain. Running again, she raced towards the sunshine, which glinted between the trunks. Suddenly, she burst from the forest. Wind tugged at her fur, and a wide, grassy slope plunged away from her. She gasped. The lake! It stretched out as big as the sky in front of her. Glittering like silver pelt, it rippled in the breeze. She strained to see the far shore, amazed at how tiny the trees looked from here. Further along, the land rose to healthier pelted hilltops. And beyond that, an island rose from the water. There must be watermint here. The shore stretched so far, Twigkit felt sure she'd find the pale green leaves somewhere at the water's edge. She hurried down the slope, her paws slithering on the dewy grass. As she reached the pebbly shore, she slowed, picking her way over the stones and wincing where they jabbed into her soft pads. She scanned the shore. Tiny waves lapped at the pebbles, but there was no sign of plants. She followed the waterline, keeping her paws clear of the rippling water. Straining to see ahead, she spotted greenery sprouting from a massive boulder jutting out into the lake. Her heart leaped. Watermint? She glanced at the sky. Between the white, puffy clouds. Oh, StarClan, let it be watermint! Excitement surged in her belly as she neared and recognized the wide, pale leaves she'd seen in the medicine den. They weren't dusty or dry, but she could already detect the same sharp scent she'd smelled on the leaves Jayfeather had given to Whitewing. StarClan answered my prayer! Joy surged through Twigkit. I must be special. She climbed onto the first boulder, unsheathing her claws to grip the smooth stone. The watermint was growing in clumps between the rocks that jutted into deeper water. She scrambled towards them, clambering over boulder after boulder until she was right at the edge where thick leaves sprouted. I'll take back the biggest bundle ever. Twigkit imagined the surprised look on her clanmate's face as she walked bent to camp, a great wad of watermint in her jaws. Larkkit, Leafkit, and Honeykit would be amazed. They might even let her join in their frog hunts. Everyone would congratulate her. Jayfeather would come out of his den to see what the fuss was about. Then he'd smell the mint and have to thank her. Happily, Twigkit hooked her claws into the biggest leaf and tugged. To her surprise, it didn't tear free of the clump. The force of her tug unbalanced her, and she jerked clumsily. Her paws slid from beneath her. Her heart lurched as her rump hit the rock. She let go of the leaves, scrambling to find her paws, but they slithered on the smooth stone. Help! She felt herself falling. With a yelp of horror, she plunged into the lake. She's so cute. I hope nothing bad happens. The chill of water stole her breath. Terror scorched through her as she sank. She flailed desperately, opening her mouth to mew, choking on the water that rushed in. Bubbles streamed around her as the water washed through her fur. It stung her eyes and filled her ears. She struggled, tumbling as currents caught her and dragged her deeper. "StarClan, help me!" She struck out, trying to pull herself to the surface, but light seemed to glimmer on every side. Which way is up? Her panic spiraled. I can't find my way out. Her lungs ached for air. I'm dying. How could this happen? I'm a special kit. Suddenly, a voice sounded through the roaring of blood in her ears. Twig Kit. She stopped struggling, letting the water swirl her like a leaf. Twig Kit! The voice sounded again, and she recognized it with a flicker of hope. Is that my mother? She had forgotten that gentle, familiar purr. She'd only been with her mother for a few days, and since Alderpaw had carried her back to ThunderClan, she'd been unable to remember even the touch of her fur. Now her mother's scent surrounded her. Swim, my special kit, swim! At her mother's command, Twig Kit flailed once more, trying to fight her way to the surface. Her lungs bursting, she fought the water as it dragged her down. I'm not strong enough. Help me! Teeth sank into her scruff, biting into her fur and jerking her upwards. Mother? Limp with shock, she felt herself being pulled. The water around her grew lighter and lighter until, like prey escaping the jaws of a fox, she burst into fresh air. She gulped it down, struggling to fill her lungs and coughing helplessly. The teeth held onto her scruff, dragging her until she felt pebbles brushing her paws. She let herself be hauled helplessly onto the shore. You saved me, she mewed weakly. Her mother had come back. She rescued me. Dazed, Twig Kit coughed up water from her lungs and belched it from her belly. Twig Kit? A ginger she-cat was leaning over her, eyes flashing with fear. Are you okay? Twig Kit blinked in surprise. Sparkpaw? Disappointment jabbed her chest. It wasn't my mother. Fighting grief, she let her thoughts clear. Of course it wasn't her mother. I'm a mouse brain. What would her mother be doing here beside the lake? She struggled to her paws, forcing a purr. You saved me, Sparkpaw. Thank you. Coughing, she collapsed. Sparkpaw sat down, her wet pelt streaming. What in StarClan are you doing here? Did you want to see what it's like being a RiverClan cat? Twig Kit blinked at her, shame sweeping over her so hotly it drove the chill of water from her pelt. I came to fetch Watermint, she mewed weakly. Sparkpaw's eyes widened. Did Alderpaw send you? Twig Kit shook her head. It was my idea. I wanted to help the clan. I'm not sure drowning yourself is very helpful. Sparkpaw shook out her pelt, spraying Twig Kit with water. Paws thrummed towards them, and pebbles cracked as another cat leaped onto the shore. Twig Kit looked up and saw Cherry fall. The warrior stared at Twig Kit. You were right, Sparkpaw, she meowed in surprise. It was a kid on the shore. I was sure it was an otter. Otters can swim. Sparkpaw butted Twig Kit playfully with her muzzle. Twig Kit blinked at her helplessly. She was cold, embarrassed, and exhausted. Cherryfall slid past her apprentice. I won't ask what you were doing by the lake, Twig Kit, but we need to get you home and warm as soon as possible. She crouched. Climb onto my back and I'll carry you back to camp. Twig Kit reached up and tried to haul herself onto the warrior's shoulders, but her paws weren't strong enough. She felt Sparkpaw's muzzle beneath her haunches as, with a grunt, the apprentice boosted her up. Twig Kit clung on, relishing the warmth pulsing from Cherryfall's pelt. Closing her eyes, she let the warrior carry her home. Hold on. I'm gonna check. I want to check this pie place again. I can't stop thinking about the pies, okay? Pie. Pierogies. Okay. Where the heck is the pie place? Can I get this out of my cart, please? Thank you. Okay, what did I look up earlier? Cookies. Oh, this is DoorDash. That's why. Uber. I know, Flea. I did Y2K. Ooh, and royalty. I wore a Hello Kitty tracksuit and a 16th century ball gown. Dang! Hello Kitty tracksuit? I'd want that so bad. You're too drunk! That's okay. I think sometimes I feel like it's better to listen to stories while you're drunk because it's just kind of like, whoa! I need your drunk opinion then. So I really want a pie. Should I get the assorted pie box? Or do I get specific pie slices? Oh my god, they have stuffed cookies. Fat Elvis? Half a pound peanut butter cookie with pieces of caramelized peanuts. Stuffed cookie, key lime. Wait, I think this is the right place. The pie hole. They have frozen pies. Monthly special. Korean pork pie. Ooh, they have like food pies, like sweet pies and savory pies. Oh, they look so pretty. Lunch combo. Oh my god, they have like hand pies too. Now this is truly a pie place. Okay, slices. Right, so I think I should get maybe like a couple of pie slices. Okay, I'm gonna read you all their pie slices and you guys help me pick. I'm thinking maybe 4. Apple caramel crumble. I'm gonna read you the descriptions too. A perfectly blended mix of tart Granny Smith apples and Gala apples topped with homemade caramel sauce and a buttery brown sugar crumble baked to perfection. Then we have Fat Elvis, one of our biggest pies and best-selling. In a graham crust, we start with a layer of dark chocolate ganache, then top it with banana cream and peanut butter whipped cream. To finish this pie, we drizzle more chocolate ganache, house-made caramel, and roasted peanuts. Fit for the king. Oh my god, wait, Fat Elvis sounds really good. Slice apple pie. This one's different than apple crumble. Apple pie is different than apple crumble. Award-winning, just like Grandma used to make, Granny Smith and Gala apples in our double butter pastry. Simple, warm, perfect. Then there's raspberry cream crumble. Multi-award winning and featured on the Food Network's Diners, Drive-Ins and Dives. Raspberries in a creamy custard with white sugar crumble. Officially the sweet pie of Flavortown. Vietnamese coffee! Inspired by Vietnamese coffee, this pie starts with a pressed graham crust, and we add a sweetened condensed milk espresso custard. Then top it off with espresso whipped cream and chocolate. Oh my god. A classy creation packed with flavor. The so ovey and gooey, buttery filling and loaded with delicious pecans and set in our delicious pie hole signature double butter crust. Oh my god. Blueberry cream crumble. Award-winning local blueberries and a sweet and creamy goat cheese custard with subtle hints of sweet basil and white sugar crumble top. Key lime pie. Each bite is like a trip to Florida. Enjoy the tart lime custard held in a honey graham crust, all topped with our fresh homemade whipped cream. Then we have Wiesel chocolate hazelnut cream, gluten-free. A chocolate hazelnut pressed crust with silky chocolate filling, topped with lightly sweetened coconut. Oh, I can't have that one because it has coconut in it. Lemon cream. Lemon curd topped with whipped cream and graham crust. Sweet, simple, and just the right amount of pucker. And then the other ones don't have a picture, but... Strawberry rhubarb pie. Mmm. BC's fatness, fresh local strawberries, and rhubarb in this classic favorite. Reese's peanut butter. Hi, Drake. Can someone explain what's going on in slow motion? We are reading pies that I want to order. For the serious peanut butter and chocolate fans, a peanut butter cookie crust with sweet, rich, and gooey peanut butter and cream cheese filling. Holy. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna get. Oh my god, they have like tiny pies, like 5-inch pies. That's really good if I like find a pie that I really like. I think I'm gonna get Fat Elvis. Oh. I'm gonna get Fat Elvis. Pump my pie? That's weird. I'm gonna get Fat Elvis. Vietnamese coffee. Oh, key lime pie for sure. Okay, do I get the apple pie or do I get the pecan pie? Hi, Joey! Kiza. Thank you for the follow, Nelfie! Guys, apple pie or butter pecan pie? Or Vietnamese coffee? I mean, I could get 5, but that's like a lot. There's no cheese pies. What happened? Did it close? It went back. 7:30. Okay, we're fine. We're fine, guys. Thoughts? There's also... Okay, so far I have the key lime pie, and I think I'll get the apple pie. Okay, so we have key lime pie, Elvis pie, apple pie, and now we have one more. Should we do butter pecan pie? Or Vietnamese coffee pie? Or chocolate hazelnut cream? Or Reese's peanut butter pie? I think apple, since you already have key lime. Yes, we have apple. If we kind of go with how texture-wise it is, key lime pie is very similar to the Elvis pie. Apple pie is kind of like textury. So maybe we get the butter pecan pie? Either the butter pecan pie or the raspberry cream crumble. Hi, Rat Happy! This one's, the raspberry cream crumble is award-winning. That's the food net, that one? Yeah. I forget bean ear. They're drinking a whole lot of... What's your drink of choice tonight? I'm good! I'm ordering pie. Pie. So halfway through the stream, I'll probably have to get up and pick up. Oh, they have original banana pudding. Whipped vanilla pudding, fresh sliced bananas, and cookie crumble. Ooh, yummy. Oh my god, they have frozen pies you can cook. Should I get like an actual pie for like dinner? Like a frozen pie? Apple crumble, cream, vegan, crumble, savory pies, spinach and feta pie, mushroom bourguignon pie. Holy. Beer. You don't have something better? chicken pie, steak pie, bacon cheeseburger, chicken carbonara. What's a bourguignon pie? Chicken carbonara, huh? Wait, I have to look at the inside of these pies. Whoa. Buffalo chicken pie. I guess they don't sell the pulled pork pie. The Korean pork pie. Oh, that one's frozen, actually. Caribbean chicken. That is slow roast. Mac and cheese pie? That would kill me. Should I get it? Oh my god, it's literally a pie filled with mac and cheese. Wait, I think I have to get it. It's frozen. Our oh so creamy and cheesy mac and cheese pie is prepared in an open-faced, flaky, buttery pie shell topped with gooey melted cheddar that will keep you coming back for more. It looks so good. I should have lactose pills. I think I'm gonna get it. I think I'll get it. It looks so good. It looks so good. Once I made a grilled cheese sandwich with mac and cheese instead, and it was so yummy. I love everybody because I love you. Okay, let's view my cart. We have Fat Elvis, key lime pie, apple pie, raspberry cream crumble, and mac and cheese pie. $50. Wow, I'm saving 15 bucks. Complete your order. It's pretty completed. I picture it soft and I love everybody because I love you. And it's Canadian. I ordered it. Me at door. Guys, I love that song. I've been listening to it like nonstop. I have an entire animatic in my brain for that song. And I almost attempted to draw it yesterday, and I was like, I don't have that kind of effort in me. I love everybody because I love you. Bum, 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 bum. All right, back to the thing, and then I'll just get up and buy some pie later. I mean, get the pie. It should arrive at 5 o'clock. Do I like musicals? I do! Why? Do you have a good musical that'll really, really fit with the pining and longing of Jules Goldstrike? I'm also learning I can only draw from a very specific angle. If you look on my... If you look at all the drawings I drew recently, the ones that have gotten most popular, it's all facing the same direction. Curious if you've seen Hadestown. I've never actually listened to Hadestown. Only that one song, the like intro song. I don't actually know. The one where he's like going down. Also, I feel like this pie wouldn't take that long. I guess maybe if it's far away, but... Okay, let's keep reading. finally. Okay, so she's just passed out. Why did you even leave the camp? Jayfeather scolded as he tucked her deep into Emberfoot's discarded nest. I was trying to help, Twigkit rasped sadly. She glanced towards the entrance, hoping Alderpaw would arrive. Would he be cross with her too? She couldn't bear not knowing. Should not try to help. They cause nothing but trouble. He folded dry moss around her. Briarlight, wrap yourself up around her. You need to get her warm. Briarlight slid gently into the nest beside Twigkit and curled close. Twigkit was still shivering, her throat sore from coughing up water. She could hear the clan murmuring outside. They'd gathered around as Cherryfall had carried her into camp. Spending more on pies than I spent on cookies. How much did you spend on your beers? They'd gathered around as Cherryfall had carried her into camp. Where did you find her? Did the rogues kidnap her? What was she doing out of camp? How did she get so wet? Anxious voices had surrounded her, and she had buried her muzzle deep into Cherryfall's fur and closed her eyes. This wasn't the heroic return she had planned. She hadn't even brought back any water mint. Now in Emberfoot's nest, she heard Lilyheart's mew. Where is she? The queen pushed her way through the brambles. Twigkit peeked up from her from the moss. Cherryfall said you'd gone to the lake. Lilyheart sounded as cross as Jayfeather. How could you leave the camp? I'm ashamed of you. What will the clan think? Twigkit shrank deeper into the nest. Jayfeather stepped in front of the queen. She needs to rest, he told Lilyheart. You can growl at her when she's recovered. Lilyheart fluffed out her pelt indignantly. I'm supposed to be looking after her. Then you shouldn't have let her wander out of camp. Jayfeather steered Lilyheart firmly towards the entrance, especially when there are rogues in the forest. Lilyheart grunted and stalked from the medicine den. Twigkit blinked at Jayfeather. Had he actually defended her? He headed for the back of the den. I'll mix you some herbs for the shock. He mewed over his shoulder. And don't complain if they taste bad. You deserve everything you get. As she spoke, Alderpaw raced through the brambles and skidded to a halt beside Twigkit's nest. I was out gathering oak leaves. He was panting. Cherryfall told me when I got back. Twigkit, what happened? What were you doing beside the lake? Twigkit blinked at him, bracing herself for another scolding, but Alderpaw was staring at her, his eyes wide with fear. Are you okay? She'll be fine, Jayfeather growled from the back of the den. Briarlight's warming her up, and I'm mixing some thyme and poppy seeds for her. Alderpaw leaned forward and nudged Briarlight with his nose. Let me take your place, he mewed softly. As Briarlight moved away, he slid into the nest and wrapped himself around Twigkit. His familiar scent soothed her. He's like her big brother. Sparkpaw said you were trying to help, he murmured softly. How could you be helping by going to the lake? I wanted to get water mint. Twigkit whispered, her throat tightening. You'd run out, and I wanted to prove I was special. Her heart seemed to crack as the words tumbled out. Mouse Whisker and Rosepetal said they thought I wasn't special. They said there was a prophecy. The clan thought I was part of it, but I'm not. They said I was just an ordinary cat. But if I'm just an ordinary cat, the clan won't want me anymore, so I had to prove that I was special. Alderpaw squeezed tighter around her, and for the first time, Twigkit stopped shivering. Of course you're special. StarClan led Needlepaw and me to you. And the clan will always want you. You're one of us, and nothing will ever change that. You're one of us now. His words soothed her. Twigkit relaxed against him and began to purr. Alderpaw! Sparkpaw's mew made her jump. The flame-colored apprentice burst through the brambles. Her eyes were shining. Cherryfall told Bramblestar that I rescued Twigkit, and he says it's time for my assessment. You know what that means? I'm gonna be a warrior! Already? Huh? Twigkit felt Alderpaw stiffen beside her. A warrior already? His mew was tight. That's great, Sparkpaw. That's really great. I know! Sparkpaw paced. I can't wait for my ceremony. That's if I pass my assessment. I will pass, won't I? She glanced anxiously at Alderpaw. I mean, to be fair, Sparkpaw, you're the best hunter in the clan right now. She's like a prodigy, sort of. Like Lion Blaze. But Line Blaze was good at fighting, and also he was, like, super power blessed. She glanced anxiously at Alderpaw, but didn't give him a chance to reply. Of course I will. I've been training so hard for this moment. I wonder where the hunting assessment will be. I hope they choose a glade beside the stream. There are always squirrels there. Girl, you don't have to worry about hunting. Twinket's attention slid away. The warmth of Alderpaw in the nest was making her drowsy. Her eyelids felt heavy. As she closed them and sleep began to pull at her pelt, she wondered why Alderpaw had felt so tense when Sparkball had told him about her naming ceremony. He was happy for his sister, wasn't he? Of course he was. Darkness swirled around her. Why shouldn't he be? Oh my god, they're picking up my order? Wait, how far is it? Oh, well, I don't care. Chapter 7. Spark Pelt! Wait, already? Huh? Spark Pelt! Spark Pelt! Pride surged through Alderpaw's pelt as he called his sister's new warrior name. His clanmates cheered around him. Jeez Louise. I guess to be fair, she went on, like, a mission. And she's also really good at hunting, so I guess. Greystripe's mew sounded farther around the clearing. The elder was murmuring to Millie. I thought they'd choose Sparkfire for her warrior name. She looks more like Firestar than any cat I ever saw. It would be a good way to remember him. He sighed. But I suppose Bramblestar is leader. He must know what he's doing. That would have been so cute, Sparkfire! Oh my god! Yo. The L Bramblestar? Sparkpelt stood beside Bramblestar in the center of the clearing, her chin and tail high. Joy shone in her bright green eyes. The bright half-moon shone in a clear black sky, lighting the camp and stripping the high ledge with shadow. Bramblestar brushed his muzzle along Sparkpelt's chin. Squirrelflight hurried forward and touched noses with her. Oh no. Maybe Bramblestar's just, like, canonly really bad at thinking up warrior names. Squirrelfly, oh yeah. Alderpaw shifted uneasily. He was trying to ignore the envy prickling in his paws. Sparkbelt deserved her warrior name. She'd been a great apprentice from her first day of training. Cherryfall and Brickenfur had announced that she had performed brilliantly during her assessment, catching a pigeon and 2 mice and outwitting Cherryfall in a mock fight with the battle move she thought up herself. She's a prodigy. And yet, Alderpaw couldn't help wishing that he were standing in the clearing beside her instead of watching. He glanced at the moon. Would StarClan speak to him at tonight's meeting at the moon pool? Perhaps they would tell him that his apprenticeship was nearing its end. Longingly, he imagined Jayfeather giving him his medicine cat name while his clanmates looked on. Would Jayfeather finally stop telling him what to do? Alderpaw! Sparkpelt's mew called to him from his thoughts. Their clanmates were drifting to the edges of camp, back to the prey that had left so they could witness the naming ceremony. He hurried to meet her. Congratulations! You think? Were they born in darkness? Hi, Deadpool. She looked as happy as a kit. Thanks. She touched her muzzle to his cheek. It'll be you next, she promised softly. I hope so, he sighed. Jayfeather stomped past them, his tail flicking. Stop wishing and hurry up, Alderpaw. We don't want to be the last cats to arrive. Sparkpelt's gaze followed the medicine cat towards the camp entrance. I think you're great, she whispered to Alderpaw. The way you put up with him, I'd have thrown all his dumb herbs into the lake by now. Okay, to be fair, do you remember when Jayfeather was given his warrior name? He came home and he was like, it's Jayfeather now. And they're like, oh, cool. Anyways, like, they didn't even congratulate him. He was just like, oh, all right. Fine. Okay. And he was an apprentice for much, much longer than his siblings. Sparkpaw nudged him away. You'd better go. Jayfeather was already disappearing through the entrance tunnel. I'll see you when you get back, she called as Alderpaw turned to follow him. Sparkpelt would be sitting vigil in the clearing until dawn to honor her new name. At least Alderpaw didn't envy that. The clear sky meant a chilly night. There was probably frost on the moor. Don't get cold, he called over his shoulder. Me and my new name will keep me warm. Alderpaw purred as he ducked through the tunnel. Jayfeather was already halfway up the rise. Alderpaw hurried to catch up with him. They met Mothwing and Willowshine at the border and followed the stream as it cut between moor and forest, tracing it backwards towards the hills where it rose. Alderpaw scrambled up a boulder after Jayfeather. The stream tumbled over the rocks beside them. Shouldn't we wait for Leafpool and Puddlepaw? Puddlepaw's so cute. They're already there, Jayfeather answered without pausing. Can't you smell their scent? Alderpaw opened his mouth, tasting the faint trace of Leafpool among the tang of water, stone, and heather. I wonder how Puddlepaw's training is going, Mothwing called out from behind them. What's the point in wondering? Jayfeather answered gruffly. We'll find out when we get there. We'd probably be there quicker if a blind cat weren't leading the way. Mothwing mewed fondly. She hurried to catch up to Jayfeather. He's as grumpy as an elder, she breathed, rolling her eyes as she bounded past Alderpaw. I heard that, Jayfeather huffed, and you know I can follow this trail as well as any sighted cat. Sorry, Jayfeather, Mothwing purred. I forgot you have the hearing of a bat. Willowshine fell in beside Alderpaw. Oh, Mothwing and Jayfeather banter is actually really cute. Willowshine fell in beside Alderpaw as the older cats chatted. How's your training going? The older cats? Willowshine is the same age as Jayfeather. Hello? Shake up my head. I think I'm doing okay, Alderpaw whispered. I'm not sure if Jayfeather agrees. I don't think Jayfeather's agreed with anything his whole life, Willowshine purred. You'll be a great medicine cat, though. You're being trained by one of the best. Alderpaw swallowed back a sigh. Jayfeather might be one of the best, but there were days when being trained by a badger might be easier. He was out of breath by the time they'd climbed the last rocky ridge. He hauled himself over the edge, his heart lifting as he saw the moon pool below. It lay at the bottom of the shallow hollow. Or, I guess so. But the way that the sentence structure, like grammarly-wise, implies that Willowshine and Alderpaw are much younger. Like, oh, the older cats are talking, and we are younger cats. Just grammarly. Whammy. Oh my god, he's on his way. Oh. Turns out the pie hole is really far away, so I'm never gonna order from there again. Holy. At least he gets a long drive. I think Willowshine has a new apprentice when Jayfeather was almost a full medicine cat. Really? I don't think so. Because wasn't there that whole thing with Leafpool? Like, I feel like there was a... Right? Wait, what was the POV? Hi, Caddy. Apparently Willowshine is older than Jayfeather. That's what I thought. I know my Jayfeather. I know my Jayfeather. My Jayfeather lore. If yesterday was supposed to be Warrior Cat Wednesday. Yeah. There was, yeah. So Willowshine, well, Leafpool was already a medicine cat when Willowshine was, because I remember there being the POV of Leafpool worrying about Mothwing's secret being exposed because of Willowpaw. That mean today is the Mature Dog went Thursday? Wait, Aaron Hunter does have a dog series. Yeah. But I think she was still an apprentice when J-Paw was made apprentice too, because he was being like sassy to her. They were like, they did not get along at all. Kessler Paw, Willow Paw, and J-Paw were all apprentices around the same time. Magi or Mage? Ooh. Okay, anyways, continuing. He was out of breath by the time they'd climbed to the last rocky ridge. He hauled himself over the edge, his heart lifting as he saw the moon pool below. It lay at the bottom of the shallow hollow, ringed by smooth cliffs. Tonight the water was so still that the moon reflected in it without a shimmer. He let Willowshine lead them down the slope, dimpled by countless paw steps. At the bottom, he saw Leafpool. She was hurrying to meet Jayfeather as he reached the water's edge. "How's the clan? Are they well?" Leafpool's eyes glittered eagerly. "Few bellyaches and thorn pricks," Jayfeather told her. "Nothing to worry about." Alderpaw joined them, happy as he smelled Leafpool's familiar scent. "Everyone misses you," he told her. Leafpool's eyes rounded with longing. "I miss you too." She glanced towards Puddlepaw, who was staring into the moonlit water blankly. "How's training going?" Jayfeather asked him. "We're making progress," Leafpool told him. Alderpaw searched her gaze. Did that mean Puddlepaw was doing better than when he'd visited her camp? Before he could ask, three shapes appeared at the edge of the hollow. In the moonlight, Alderpaw could make out Kestrel. I know I always pronounce his name wrong. It's a fine though. Kestrel Flight. Make out Kestrel Flight. He was flanked by two WindClan warriors. Gorsetail and Sage Whisker followed him stiffly down the paw-worn path. Jayfeather and Leafpool exchanged glances. "Why'd he bring them?" Leafpool hissed. Mothwing called out, "This meeting is for medicine cats." "We're not staying." Gorsetail halted as Kestrel Flight reached the water's edge. Leafpool blinked at Kestrel Flight. "Is everything okay?" She nodded towards his clanmates. "You don't usually bring company." "One Star's orders." The WindClan medicine cat sounded apologetic. He nodded to Gorsetail and Sage Whisker. "I'll be fine now. You can go." "We'll wait outside the hollow until you've finished," Sage Whisker growled. She turned and climbed up the slope. Gorsetail followed. Alderpaw's pelt prickled uneasily. The warriors seemed edgy. Kessler Flight's fur was ruffled. "What's happened?" Mothwing patted closer, her eyes round with curiosity. "One Star's worried about the rogues," Kessler Flight explained. "He's ordered every cat to have an escort if they leave camp." Jayfeather's ears twitched. "Doesn't he trust StarClan to watch over you?" Kessler Flight shifted his paws. "Since the fight with the rogues, he doesn't seem to trust anyone." He frowned. "If only I'd been there when he was hurt, I might have helped him." "There was nothing you could have done," Jayfeather told him gruffly. True, Jayfeather was there. Alderpaw blinked sympathetically at the WindClan medicine cat, remembering his own guilt over Sandstorm's death. Is this what it means to be a medicine cat? To always regret the lives you couldn't save? Poor One Star, Mothwing murmured. Losing a life must be hard. Alderpaw blinked at her. How did a RiverClan cat hear about One Star's losing a life? Bramblestar had hinted it in his conversation with Rowan Star and no more. Had some cat in Lionblaze's patrol spoken out of turn? Jayfeather snorted. At least he had more than one life to lose. First Belt probably found dying harder. Jayfeather! I love him. Leafpool leaned closer to Kessler Flight. Why were Gorsetail and Sage Whisker so prickly? Kessler Flight lowered his voice. One Star's acting strangely. He sends scouts ahead when he goes on patrol. He set a permanent guard at the camp entrance. He's enforcing every rule. Half the clan is on punishment duty for breaking one code or another. Bro, he is on his last life. He glanced over his shoulder. Everyone's scared they'll be reported. The warriors are so tense they hardly speak to one another, and the apprentices act like they're walking on quail's eggs. Jeez, he's definitely on his last life, and he's like, I don't want to die. Because he's an old, grungly man, full of hatred and distrust. Jayfeather flicked his tail impatiently. The sooner One Star pulls himself together, the better. If you thought about slipping a few poppy seeds into his prey, it would give the clan a break while he slept them off. Let's drug the leader. Actually, he needs Catmint. He needs Catmint. That's what he needs. Kessler Flight's whiskers twitched with amusement. I might try it. His shoulders softened for the first time since he'd arrived. Aw. Leafpool still looked worried. Has there been any signs of the rogues on the moor? Not so far, Kessler Flight answered. Mothwing sniffed. They must have moved on by now. Why would they stay in territory that's already been claimed? Willowshine nodded. Fighting us for every morsel of prey will be too much trouble. They're bound to have left. Let's hope so, Leafpool agreed. Rogues are usually happy to travel. It's what makes them rogues. Alderpaw's belly tightened. She didn't know these rogues. They'd driven SkyClan from their territory and made their home in the gorge, and Darktail had vowed they'd see more of him. Should he warn the others? He glanced at Jayfeather. His mentor had overheard the rogue leader's threat too, but the blind medicine cat patted around Puddlepaw, sniffing the apprentice's pelt. You smell of herbs. Jayfeather grunted. Leafpool must be teaching you something. Leafpool hurried forward. Puddlepaw's a fast learner. Good. Jayfeather mewed, because we need you back in ThunderClan. Is he ready to become a full medicine cat yet? Already? Alderpaw's pelt prickled with indignation. I'll be training until I'm an elder if Jayfeather gets his way. A full medicine cat? Leafpool looked at Jayfeather in horror. After 1 moon's training? Mothwing whisked her tail over the stone. I'm sure you and Alderpaw can manage to take care of ThunderClan without Leafpool for a while longer. If you ever need help, send for me or Willowshine. Jayfeather snorted dismissively. We won't need help. His blind gaze fixed on Puddlepaw, but it would be good to know how long you will be wasting your talents on ShadowClan. Aww. Is that his way of complimenting her? Aww. Leafpool's ears twitched crossly. Shared knowledge is never wasted. Anxiety sparked in Puddlepaw's eyes. I appreciate everything Leafpool's taught me, and I'm learning as fast as I can. Alderpaw felt a sudden surge of pity for the young cat. Perhaps training too quickly was worse than training too slowly. In another moon, Puddlepaw would be expected to take responsibility for the welfare of every cat in his clan. I'm sure you'll be a great medicine cat, he assured him. It just takes patience. Jayfeather snapped his head around, and the ability to tell the difference between shrivel root and leaves. Anger prickled through Alderpaw's pelt. That's not fair, Leafpool interrupted him. At least we know that Alderpaw has plenty of patience. She stared meaningfully at Jayfeather. As though he could see her fierce gaze, Jayfeather turned away and padded to the edge of the pool. Since there's little else to say, let's share with StarClan. Crouching, he touched his nose to the water's smooth surface. I love him so much. He's so grumpy. Ow. I think Jay Feather and Dr. House would get along, like in the worst way. Like they actually won't get along, but they'd be hilarious to see together. Or they might laugh at each other's jokes. I don't know. Alderpaw pulled his nose tip from the chilly water, disappointed. Did StarClan speak to you? Leafpool was looking at him hopefully. He stood his head, straightening. He'd seen nothing but his own thoughts. Jayfeather, Kesslerflight, and Willowshine glanced at each other. Puddlepaw stared at the ground. Did anyone speak with them? Leafpool pressed. Jayfeather shook out his pelt. Guess there was nothing to share. What about the rogues? Leafpool looked worried. They must be no threat, Willowshine guessed. Told you. Mothwing jerked her head up. She lay by the water, but she hadn't dipped her nose into it like the other medicine cats. At this point, it's like a well-known secret between all the medicine cats that Mothwing is just like there. How could she share with a clan she didn't seem to believe in? Even though she'd witnessed the great battle with the Dark Forest, she never truly believed that those cats were their own ancestors, but simply thought of them as rogues from beyond clan territory. They'll have moved on by now. Alderpaw wished he could believe her. But that wasn't the worry that wormed in his belly. He'd been hoping for StarClan to give him a clue about SkyClan. The more he thought about it, the more convinced Alderpaw felt that the sky would clear in the prophecy. The sky that would clear in the prophecy referred to SkyClan. Hi, Dine! And surely StarClan knew where the lost clan had gone. Why couldn't their ancestors send word, or at least give a clue about whether Twigkit and Violetkit were part of their prophecy? With a twinge of pity, he thought of Twigkit struggling in beside him, shivering after her fall in the lake. If I am an ordinary cat, the clan won't want me anymore. He pushed the thought away with a shiver. Of course the clan would want her, whether she was special or not. Are you ready to return? Sage Whisker's meow sounded from the rim of the hollow. She stood silhouetted in the moonlight. Kesterflight hurried towards her. I'm coming. He glanced back at the others. May StarClan light your paths, he called as he joined his clanmates. Mothwing and Willowshine followed him up the slope. See you at the gathering, Mothwing mewed over her shoulder. Willowshine dipped her head as she passed. Take care. Jayfeather was inspecting Puddlepaw again. He's so funny. Jayfeather, you should go to ShadowClan. Scare them. Scare the living bejeebies. Tell me what herbs you know, he quizzed the young cat. Watermint, horsetail, marigold. As Puddlepaw began to list them, Alderpaw noticed Leafpool gazing anxiously at the moon's reflection in the water. Were you hoping that StarClan would tell you if Rowan Stars made the right choice in Puddlepaw? He asked softly, patting to her side. I know he has, Leafpool answered quietly. Puddlepaw is quick to learn and has sympathy for his patients. He's gonna make a fine medicine cat. Then why do you look so worried? Alderpaw recognized the dark shadows in Leafpool's eyes. I'm worried about ShadowClan, she murmured. Is something wrong? Alderpaw leaned closer. Not exactly wrong, Leafpool meowed hesitantly. Not yet, anyway. But it's so chaotic. Perhaps ShadowClan is just like that. Not all clans are the same. ShadowClan has always had its own sense of the warrior code, but at least they respected it. Leafpool met Alderpaw's gaze anxiously. These days, the younger cats show their elders no respect. They ignore some rules completely. I had to hunt for Grassheart yesterday. The apprentices aren't bringing her enough food to keep her milk flowing. Flower Kit, Whirl Kit, and Snake Kit are growing fast. Grassheart needs all the prey she can eat. Jesus. Why don't the warriors send their apprentices out hunting? Alderpaw was confused. Mentors don't seem to be able to tell their apprentices anything. Sleekpaw talks back to everyone, even Rowan Star, and Needlepaw's not much better. Alderpaw's hackles prickled as Leafpool criticized the young she-cat. She's still looking after Violetkit, though, isn't she? Leafpool blinked at him. If you mean does she have Violetkit trailing everywhere after her, yes. She takes her out of camp to StarClan knows where. Out of camp? Guilt swarmed Alderpaw's belly. Is that my fault? It was me who encouraged her in the first place. Doesn't Rowan Star punish her? I don't think he even knows. Leafpool sighed. There's simply more apprentices than the clan can handle. Beepaw and Yarrowpaw have been saying that we shouldn't bother with StarClan. They asked why they should believe in a bunch of cats they've never even seen. Alderpaw interrupted, shocked. They mustn't reject StarClan. Leafpool went on anxiously. Sleekpool says, dead cats are dumb. She says StarClan can't possibly understand the forest anymore. They've been living in their own hunting grounds too long. Alderpaw leaned forward. Can't you tell them they're wrong? What you've seen with your own eyes? Yo, Jayfeather should switch with Leafpool for real. The fact that he can, like, read minds or, like, feelings, too, he'd be able to tell what was going on, like, so fast. Uber. I'm a ThunderClan cat. Leafpool stared at him helplessly. Anything I say will just make it worse, and the warriors have stopped arguing with them. It's like they don't see the point anymore. This is a comment on Gen Z. I know it. I know it. Alderpaw's heart quickened with fear. Perhaps that's why StarClan didn't share with us tonight. They might be angry about ShadowClan. Leafpool closed her eyes. Or maybe StarClan doesn't know what to do. She blinked them open, as though pushing away worry. Perhaps it'll pass. These are young cats. They'll grow out of this nonsense. She fluffed out her pelt against the chilly night air. I'm probably worrying over nothing. Like you say, ShadowClan has always been different. It could be that every new set of apprentices is the same and the warriors are doing the right thing by quietly waiting it out. Before Alderpaw could comment, she patted towards Puddlepaw, interrupting Jayfeather, who was questioning Puddlepaw on how to treat an infected claw. Come on, it's time we were going. Puddlepaw looked relieved. He nodded to Leafpool and headed for the top of the hollow. I'll be home in a moon or two, Leafpool told Jayfeather as she followed him. I wish it were sooner, Jayfeather huffed. Aw, he's so cute. So do I. Leafpool caught Alderpaw's eyes as she went on. Be patient with Alderpaw. Cats learn far more from kindness than anger. Alderpaw glanced nervously at Jayfeather, wishing Leafpool hadn't said anything. Never poke your claw into a bee's nest. Jayfeather's whiskers twitched with amusement. If I start being gentle with him now, he'll worry I'm getting soft in my old age. Bro, you're not even old! He followed Leafpool up the slope. Sounds like you're doing a good job with Puddlepaw. At least he seems to know what Sherville is for. Alderpaw hardly heard his mentor's jibe. He was worrying about ShadowClan. What if Leafpool was wrong? What if the bad behavior of the apprentices didn't pass? What would happen to Needlepaw? His heart lurched. How could Violet learn to be a true warrior in a place like that? True? Real? She's being corrupted by the young minds? Crumble. Okay. Crumble. Okay. Guys, I have to write more of this thing that I've... Should take, like, notes of what parts I want to write about. I'm trying to write, like, a whole journey of Jules Goldstrike's adventure in V-Gala and, like, the emotions and meeting people and such. Mostly because I've written enough now that I need to write more. Like, I've written enough that I want to share it, but not enough that it makes sense and it's complete. So I have to finish it in order to share it, which is poopy. Poopy for me. Let's see. We are a half an hour out of pies. I think I'll read until pies get here. or at least close enough to pies, and then after they arrive, I'll end. Which is a shorter stream today, but them still wakes. Also, I did get my schedule for cheese. So I know when I can do things. A lot of the time I'm ending the latest I'm ending my shifts is 5:30 p.m. So likely streams will be at either 6:30, probably 6:30. I won't stream on Saturdays for sure because I need like a designated shopping day for like groceries, because I think I might end up actually doing a schedule now that I have like very specific timelines to go to and to fall under. So we might get actual. And I don't have like time to think about what game I want to play. So it is actually better to have it scheduled beforehand so that I can be like, all right, we're going home, we're playing this game, rather than we're going home and I have to deal with thinking about what game to play. So I think we'll do that. And I did have that cute site with like, I found, oh, I didn't show you guys though. There's this cute site and it generates a schedule for you, and it also generates like a color palette for you based off of the background. It's really cute and really good. Oh my god, how is he here? He's 20 minutes away now. Oh my god, I have to read fast. Chapter 8. Violet had narrowed her eyes as she glanced at the setting sun blazing between the treetops. Her paws ached. She was getting used to the walk back from the rogues' camp. Needlepaw usually helped her over fallen trees and ditches, but it still felt like a long way. She was relieved to see the bramble wall of the camp ahead. Come on, Needlepaw whispered, guiding her towards the dirt place tunnel. Violet had stumbled warily as a mew took her by surprise. Where have you been? Tawny Pelt strode from between the trees and blocked their path. Her anger gaze fell on Needlepaw. Needlepaw blinked at her, unfazed. I was showing Violet Kit the best spot for squirrel hunting. Tawny Pelt glared. Violet Kit is too young to hunt squirrels. You shouldn't even be out of camp. I don't want to hunt. Needlepaw rounded her eyes imploringly, but she gets so bored. Pine-Nose Kits are apprentices now. What about Grassheart's kits? Tawny Pelt stood her ground. She could be helping to entertain them. Violet Kit stepped forward. Pine-Nose says they're too young for me to play with. At least that was true. The kits were so cute. But Pine-Nose had always had a reason why Violet Kit should stay away from them. Nonsense, Tawny Pelt snapped. When I was a kid, I played with my den mates the moment I opened my eyes, no matter how old they were. But you were clan-born. Violet Kit swallowed back resentment. She didn't want to appear ungrateful. Pine-Nose and Grassheart were kind to her. They were just overprotective, that's all. I'd play with them if I was allowed to, she mewed defensively. Tawny Pelt narrowed her eyes. I'll speak with Pine-Nose and Grassheart. Then she switched her gaze sharply back to Needlepaw. If Violet Kit is having problems in the nursery, you won't solve them by breaking rules. You should have come to me straight away. Her tail twitched irritably. That's an afternoon's training wasted. I'd planned to teach you how to track scent trails. It's the most important warrior skill that you can learn. Violet Kit stiffened. What if Tawny Pelt tracked our scent to the rogues' camp? But the tortoiseshell went on. I was hunting with Snowbird and Stonewing instead. She looked Needlepaw up and down. Did you catch any squirrels? They were too fast, Needlepaw mewed quickly. So, you've got nothing for the fresh kill pile at all. Tawny Pelt looked exasperated. The clan comes first. I was taking care of Violet Kit, Needlepaw protested. You were teaching her how to break rules. Tawny Pelt's mew deepened to a growl. Come with me. This must be reported to Rowan Star. She turned away, tail twitching ominously. Needlepaw glanced at Violet Kit. Don't worry, she murmured. I won't let you get into trouble. Violet Kit's heart was pounding. Rowan Star. The Shadow Clan leader occasionally paused while crossing the camp to say hello and ask her how she was settling into clan life, but she'd never managed more than a squeak in reply. Now she was going to be reported to him for breaking clan rules. As Needlepaw patted after Tawny Pelt, shoulders loose, tail flicking breezily, Violet Kit pressed back, the panic rising in her chest, forcing her pelt to smooth. She followed them, pretending to be calm. The sun had dipped behind the trees, and the clan had settled around the clearing to eat. Violet Kit glanced at the fresh kill pile, almost empty now. Beepaw was rooting through it. Violet Kit's belly churned as the apprentice sniffed at a thrush. She felt too sick to be hungry. Rowan Star looked up from the mouse he was eating beside Crowfrost.
Tawny Pelt?
He got to his paws, greeting the she-cat with a worried look.
What's happening?
Clearly, he could see anger in her rippling pelt.
Needlepaw took Violet Kit out of camp.
Tawny Pelt stepped aside to let Needlepaw face Rowan Star. Violet Kit halted. Her paws felt shaky as she sensed the eyes of the other cats lifting from their fresh kill and fixing on her. She glanced nervously at Needlepaw. Was her friend in serious trouble? And what about me? Did ShadowClan punish Kits? Rowan Star glared at Needlepaw.
Kits don't leave camp, he meowed sternly. What were you thinking? There may have been rogues in the forest. There's certainly foxes, and Spikefur said he saw an adder yesterday. A warrior would be lucky to survive an adder bite. A kit would die.
Needlepaw blinked at him coolly. I look out for adders and foxes. I wouldn't let anything hurt her. Rowan Star's hackles lifted as though he were surprised to hear her talk back.
Kits do not leave the camp.
Needlepaw glanced calmly at Beepaw beside the fresh kill pile. It's a dumb rule. Beepaw leaned closer, her eyes sparkling with interest. Violet Kit stared at Needlepaw, shock fizzing through her fur. Had she really said that? And why had she shot a sly glance at Beepaw? Had they been planning to challenge Rowan Star like this? Oh my god, are they like... They're doing that teenager thing like, can you believe this guy? Gross. Crowfrost stood up, his tail twitching angrily as Needlepaw went on. Like I told Tawny Pelt, Violet Kit was bored in camp. She flicked her muzzle dismissively towards the clearing. There's nothing to learn here except how to grow old. Sleekpaw, Juniperpaw, Yarrowpaw, and Strikepaw were padding closer. Oh my god. The teenagers, they're coming. Teenagers scared the living heck out of me. Dark and careless, as long as somebody bleeds. So darken your clothes and strike a fire and post. Maybe they'll leave you alone, but not me. Birchpaw and Lionpaw. There's so many apprentices, good golly. Birchpaw and Lionpaw hung back, eyeing each other nervously, but Beepaw perked her ears excitedly, as though willing Needlepaw to say more. Rowan Star's gaze flickered towards them, then back to Needlepaw. It was blazing with anger.
There's plenty to learn in camp, he hissed. The warrior code. For a start, too many rules are being ignored.
It's impossible to remember all your rules. Needlepaw flicked her tail irritably. Perhaps if we had fewer rules, we'd obey more of them. Crowfrost flattened his ears.
Perhaps if we had smarter apprentices, they wouldn't have such a hard time remembering.
Sleekpaw and Strikepaw. Crowfrost's kits! Hissed at the ShadowClan deputy. His kits! Are you calling us dumb? What's happening? Strikepaw glared at his father. If you treated us better, maybe we'd try harder, he snarled. Don't forget there are nearly as many of us as there are you. You'd be wise to give us a little more respect. Was that a threat? Violet Kit stared at him, her mouth opening. She shifted her paws uneasily. The apprentices were edging nearer to Needlepaw, as though gaining confidence with every complaint. Had they planned this rebellion? Or had Needlepaw's boldness sparked resentment that had been simmering for moons? Yarrowpaw and Juniperpaw flicked their tails irritably. Beepaw padded from the fresh kill pile to join them. Respect! Rowan Star narrowed his eyes. Respect has to be earned. His growl was hard. Beepaw tipped her head. I don't see the older cats earning any respect. All they do is hunt and sleep. Snowbird padded forward quickly, her pelt ruffled. Peepaw! She blinked at her daughter anxiously. You mustn't speak about your elders like that. Oh, I got a message from my courier. I'm on the way. I know you are. Oh, it was delayed. Why not? Peepaw moved closer to Yarupa. You taught us that ShadowClan cats can say what they like. Alarm sparked in Snowbird's gaze as her kits stared at her petulantly. Are these like the kits that had just turned into apprentices? Where has all this come from? Peepaw stared at her mother. If you ever listened instead of just talking, you'd know. Crowfrost fluffed out his fur, his nervous gaze on his own kits. I think so too. Honestly, I feel like they just haven't gotten in a fight yet. Then again, they did see a dead body earlier, and Needlepaw was like, LOL. Let's sneak out while they're grieving the dead cat. I guess he was an old cat. It wasn't like a fight death. It was like an old age death, and he was like really stinky because they weren't taking care of him properly. Crowfrost fluffed out his fur, his nervous gaze on his own kits. Sleekpaw, Juniperpaw, and Strikepaw were bunched close, staring questioningly at Rowenstar. Sleekpaw lashed her tail. The elders used to tell us stories about how ShadowClan was feared by the other clans. She meowed. Now we only try to make peace. Huh? Strikepaw snorted. We hide behind our borders like kitty pets. It's true, Juniperpaw agreed. Not even WindClan respects us anymore. At the last gathering, Fernball called us a bunch of frog eaters. In the old days, apprentices from other clans didn't even dare speak to us. Ratscar told us that ThunderClan used to tell nursery stories about how terrifying we were. I bet their nursery stories aren't so scary now. Rowenstar shifted his paws. Peace brings prey, he meowed. Why fight over borders when we have enough prey to feed every cat? Ratscar got to his paws. The brown Tom's eyes were narrow. Uh-oh. Apprentices. The apprentices have a point. ShadowClan used to rule the forest. Now we live like a bunch of ThunderClan cats. All we want is peace and food. We're hardly better than kitty pets. Kinkfur growled. What nonsense. ShadowClan will always be feared and respected by the other clans. Even if we're not feared and respected by our own kits. Ratscar rasped dryly. Oakfur crossed the clearing and faced Rowenstar. Why can't the mentors keep their apprentices under control? In my day, we did what we were told. Stonewing shouldered his way through the gathered cats and glared at Juniperpaw. How could you embarrass me like this? Haven't I been a good mentor to you? I've taught you everything you know. Juniperpaw curled his lips. Cats are born knowing how to fight and hunt. Why do I need you to tell me what I already know? Huh? These kids need to be in the middle of a life-threatening battle or something. Stonewing swung his muzzle accusingly at Rowenstar. I warned you the apprentices were getting too big for their pelts. Rowenstar glared back at him, pelts spiking. I shouldn't have to control your apprentice for you. Dawnpelt hurried forward and gazed imploringly at Sleekpaw and her denmates. I don't understand why you're so angry. When I was your age, I was proud to be an apprentice. She mewed. We all were. We wanted to learn the warrior code. Only because you wanted to be like ThunderClan. Needlepaw scoffed. Dawnpelt bristled. That's not true. Tawnypelt hissed at Needlepaw. Respect your elders. Not until they respect us, Sleekpaw butted in. Angry yowls echoed around the camp. Violet Kit shrunk against Needlepaw's flank as the clan argued around her. Perhaps the warrior code was too restrictive. She'd heard Needlepaw complain about it often enough. But was it worth fighting about? Surely warriors had a code for a reason. Otherwise, they'd be nothing but rogues or loners.
Silence!
Rowan Star leaped onto the low rock at the edge of the clearing and glowered at his clan. His fur stood on end and his eyes blazed in the twilight. The clan fell silent and watched their leader expectantly.
Needlepaw!
Rowan Star fixed his furious gaze on the silver apprentice.
You broke a rule and you will be punished. You will look after the elders, clean their bedding, pull out their ticks, and hunt for them. They are your responsibility from now on.
Needlepaw returned, his gaze unruffled. For how long? Rowan Star showed his teeth.
Until I say so.
Okay. Needlepaw shrugged and turned away. She shouldered her way between her den mates and headed for the fresh kill pile. Violet Kit stared at her. How could she act so cool?
Violet Kit?
Rowan Star's mew made her jump. She stared at him, her heart in her throat.
You shouldn't have let camp.
The Shadow Clan leader's mew was stern. His gaze flicked towards the nursery. Pine Nose watched from outside. He beckoned the queen forward with a flick of his tail.
You should be keeping a closer eye on her,
he told the queen as she padded towards him. She dipped her head. I'm sorry.
Don't let her out of your sight,
Rowan Star warned. Pine Nose stopped beside Violet Kit. Couldn't Grassheart take care of her now? She mewed hopefully. Now that my own kits have left the nursery, I could return to warrior duties. Violet Kit tried to ignore the hurt jabbing her heart. She'd known for a long time that Pine Nose had never been fond of her. Of course she'd rather be hunting than watching me. I'm not her kit. She smelled pine and fresh air and the queen's fur. Had she been out already? Rowan Star scowled.
I know you miss patrolling and hunting, but it's Grassheart's first litter. She won't have the time to take care of another kit.
Violet Kit lifted her muzzle defiantly. I can take care of myself. Rowan Star hopped off the stone and padded closer.
If that were true, you wouldn't have left camp today.
He turned to Pine Nose.
Look after her. Make sure she learns the warrior code. I don't want her turning out like them.
He glowered at Sleekpaw and her den mates.
She's been spending far too much time with Needlepaw.
Pine Nose lowered her gaze. Okay, she grunted. But Needlepaw's my only friend. Violet Kit stared at Rowan Star, her heart heavy as stone. Now I'll have no one to talk to. Anger sparking beneath her pelt, Violet Kit padded to the nursery and squeezed inside. Grassheart's kits were squirming and mewling in their nest while Grassheart dozed. Violet Kit scowled at them. They'd never know what it was like to lose a mother and a sister. Slinking into the shadow at the edge of the den, she curled up and buried her nose beneath her paw. Checking. 5 minutes away. Hi, Corrado. Violet Kit. Needlepaw hissed across the clearing. Violet Kit looked up, blinking in the afternoon sunshine. She was tired after a morning spent playing with Grassheart's kits. Tawny Pelt must have kept her word and spoken to her. As soon as she'd woken that morning, Grassheart had asked her to take Snake Kit, Whirl Kit, and Flower Kit outside to play. She'd enjoyed teaching them the rules of Moss Ball and a cat and mouse. For a while, she'd felt less alone, but the kits were resting now, snuggled in their nests beside their mother, and Violet Kit had nothing to do. Violet Kit! Needlepaw called again. Violet Kit glanced towards Pine Nose. The queen was picking irritably through the fresh kill pile at the far end of camp. Violet Kit scrambled to her paws and hurried across the clearing. Needlepaw was dragging a large bundle of bracken towards the elder's den. She'd let go as Violet Kit reached her. Dumb old cats, Needlepaw huffed. They're always wanting something. Pull this tick, Needlepaw. Bring me food, Needlepaw. Needlepaw mimicked their husky mews. I need new bedding, Needlepaw. She sat down wearily. Can I help? Violet Kit offered eagerly. Needlepaw's eyes brightened. Yes. Violet Kit leaned closer, preparing for orders. Would Needlepaw want her to look for moss around the camp? Or fetch prey from the fresh kill pile? Needlepaw leaned close and whispered in Violet Kit's ears. I need you to travel to the rogues' camp tonight. Me? Violet Kit blinked at her in surprise. Are you coming too? Of course not. Needlepaw rolled her eyes. How could I leave with every old fleabag in the clan watching to make sure I stick to my stupid elder duties? Violet Kit frowned. Then why do I need to go? I want you to give a message to Rain. I promised to meet him tonight, but I can't now since I got caught with you. Violet Kit felt a prickle of guilt in her belly. So you'll go? Needlepaw was staring at her imploringly. Violet Kit shifted her paws. How can I? Pinenose will be watching me, and Grassheart. They'll be asleep by the time the moon's up, Needlepaw mewed. They'll sleep like hedgehogs. Nothing will wake them until dawn. Violet glanced at the nursery. Both queens did sleep heavily. The kits, too. She probably could slip out of the nursery without anyone noticing. But she'd never been in the forest alone at night. What if she met a fox? What if she was caught? Rowan Star would be mad. Fear sparked beneath her pelt. This is some bad peer pressure. Needlepaw seemed to read her mind. You'll be fine. If a warrior patrol catches you, tell them I made you go. And keep an eye out for foxes and owls. Fox stench is easy to spot. Just stay away from it. Check the canopy for owls. Their eyes flash in the dark. Owls? Violet shivered. She never wanted to see an owl again. You have to go. Needlepaw looked desperate. Rain will be expecting me. That's her boyfriend. Her edgy punk boyfriend. Her, what is it? Her criminal boyfriend. Oh yeah, wait. Rain will be expecting me, and if I don't turn up, he might not like me anymore. Oh my god. Girl, you're not being... He's bad for you. He's doing this to you. You could find a better boy. Oh my god. She's in a toxic relationship. And she thinks she's hot stuff because of it. Sympathy filled Violet Kit's heart. Needlepaw was her only real friend in the clan. She'd been so kind. No one else had taken her to see Twig Kit. Okay, she agreed. Needlepaw's eyes brightened at once. Thanks! You must reach their camp before moon high. Where are we at? Still 5 minutes. An owl screeched. Violet Kit glanced nervously up through the dark canopy, looking for eyes flashing in the shadows. I picture Rain as older than Needlepaw. Oh, 100%. He's like an adult cat for sure. There is no way he's young. He was like second in charge of the rogues, wasn't he? There is no way. He isn't. But this deep into the pine forest, there was hardly a glimpse of light between closely packed trees. Her heart leaped into her throat as the owl sounded again. She felt sure it had been following her since she crossed the last ditch. Pelt bushed. She padded onward, fear pushing exhaustion away. She'd crept from the warm moss beside Pinenose as soon as she was sure that the two queens and the kits were asleep. Gentle snores had filled the nursery as she squeezed through the entrance. She'd stiffened as she hit the chilly night air, her heart thumping as she crept through the dirt-placed tunnel. Alone in the forest, she'd felt like prey. Now she was close to the edge of Shadow Clan territory. The rogues' camp was near. Even in the dark, she remembered the route, and she crawled under a bramble and still smelled of Needlepaw's scent from last time. The trees thinned beyond the border where the land sloped up, and Violet Kit trekked onward, comforted by the moonlight that had begun to light her path. At least pine gave way to alder and beech, and stars sparkled reassuringly between their branches. She strained to see ahead, glimpsing the rowan bushes that marked the edge of the rogues' camp. I made it! As pride surged through her, a screech sounded above her. She jerked her head up and glimpsed the massive silhouette of an owl. It swooped towards her so fast she froze in panic. Claws glinted as the owl stalled in midair, twisting its wings as it dropped towards her. She felt a rush of air, then pain as talons dug into her fur. A cat's yowl pierced the night. Feathers whipped her ears. The owl's grip loosened as something slammed into it, knocking it away. She glimpsed gray fur and silver. Rain and Roach reared and dragged the owl to the ground. Run! Rain screeched as he grappled against the owl's powerful wings. Violet Kit couldn't move. Her heart nearly burst as she watched Roach leap onto the owl's back and sink his teeth into its thick plumage. The owl flapped wildly, its wings thumping against the ground as it threw him off. It wrenched free of Rain and struggled into the air, screeching as it beat the air and flapped up into the branches. Rain turned on her, panting.
I said run!
Violet shrank away, trembling as he glared at her.
Be gentle!
Raven bounded from between the rowan bushes and slithered to a halt beside Violet. She must be terrified. She curled her tail around Violet, searching her gaze. Where's Needlepaw? Rain stiffened.
Did the owl get her?
Violet shook her head, struggling to find her voice. She couldn't come, she stammered. That's why I'm here. She sent me to tell you. You came through the woods alone? Raven looked shocked. Raven is a better mom than Pine knows.
So? Rain was unimpressed. I thought clan cats could do anything. A little forest walk in the night isn't hard.
She's barely 3 moons old. Raven crouched close to Violet, pressing her warm flank close. I'm trembling. Violet realized she was shaking like trapped prey. Roach nudged Rain, his eyes glinting.
Needlepaw can't make it rain. She must have better things to do.
He sounded as though he was teasing his campmate. She doesn't. Violet mewed quickly. She got in trouble and has to stay in camp and look after the elders. Flames slunk from the rowan bushes, her orange pelt pale in the moonlight. I'm checking this ding. Okay, he's still 5 minutes away. He was like stuck at a light, or maybe he was getting gas. Maybe.
Ain't that sweet?
She drawled mockingly, her voice light now that her terrible white cough had passed, and with it her kindness.
Needlepaw should look after old cats.
She'll come as soon as she can, Violet promised. Raven touched her muzzle to Violet's head. I'm sure she will. What the heck? Raven, just adopt her. Violet felt a wave of gratitude for Raven's kindness. For the first time since leaving the nursery, she felt safe. I guess I better go home. She glanced at the sky, hoping the rogues had scared the owl off for good. Paw steps sounded in the shadows behind a beech.
You mustn't go now.
Darktail patted from the darkness, his eyes round with concern.
It's too dangerous for you to travel alone.
But I have to get back to the nursery before dawn. Violet's heart skipped a beat. What if Pine Nose woke and found her gone? Darktail patted past her, weaving around his campmates.
Don't worry, little one. We'll have you home by then.
He exchanged glances with Rain.
You must be tired and hungry. Nettle!
He called into the shadow. The brown tabby padded out, a rabbit hanging from his jaws. Silt followed, carrying a squirrel. Bye, Connie. Have a good... Oh, 2 minutes away. I have to go pick up this pie. Be right back. Keep tree? Oi there, lads. Saw you gal on the YouTube. Figured I'd come over here and chat. Can someone explain why the cats are scared of birds? Is there an in-law reason, or is it like I vastly underestimated cats? You vastly underestimated cats versus owls. Especially like big owls. They, especially with the kitten, right? This is a kitten versus an owl. And kittens are like smaller than rabbits. And they eat rabbits, so yeah, kitten. Yeah. That's why she was really scared, but the other cats jumped on the owl. Because they were full grown. They were full grown, but they were also tiny babies. Like Violet kids. Thank you for coming over from YouTube, though. We've had a few people that were originally from YouTube that shimmied on over to Twitch, and it is a lot more populated over there. Even though technically Warrior Cat Wednesdays is a very quiet day, stream-wise. Yeah. Still, thank you! Okay, we're gonna finish this chapter. How much more do I have? Okay, we're gonna finish this chapter, and then unfortunately I will end because I did get my pies and I want to eat them. So gonna go eat my pies after I'm done this chapter. I was getting to listen along to a story that a friend of mine was super hyped about when they were on. Oh, yes! I'm that same person! I'm really hyped about Warrior Cats. I have done this! Pies plural? Pie slices. I got 4 pie slices. I ordered them earlier on stream. I got an apple pie, I got a key lime pie, I got a raspberry cream crumble pie, and an fat Elvis pie, which is like banana and peanut butter. They're like slices, so not like an entire pie, but slices of pies. And then I got also a frozen mac and cheese pie, because I was kind of curious. So that's my dinner. Little too water. You are in fact just the right amount of water for your noodles. Ooh. Tasty. I just got done feeding the fam with what should have been a taco, chicken, rice, one pot skillet meal, but it turned into taco casserole instead. Oh my god, that sounds so good. Shawarma and poutine? Guys, I work at a cheese factory. Would it be a cheese factory? A cheese place. I make cheese. This is my new job. I got it recently. But we make cheese curds, and there is nothing like a fresh cheese curd. You guys are missing out on cheese curd fresh from the cheese room. It is insane how yummy they are and how squeaky they are. Yum, cheese. And I'm lactose intolerant. Squeaky, yeah, that's how you know that you have a good cheese curd. The squeakier it is. Squeaky cheese, squeaky cheese. If you have like a frozen cheese curds, it doesn't get squeaky anymore, and then it's kind of like, why is the lactose intolerant one working at the cheese factory? Because it's cool. It's science. It's artisan. I thought that it would keep me from eating cheese on the job. Doesn't stop me. Doesn't stop me. It's one of the cheese perks. Okay, wait. We have to keep reading because I gotta go eat my pies. Okay, so we just had... Okay. Well, at least it's better than having to work at a beef processing plant. Oh, no! That's rough. I don't think I could do that at all. My French teacher in like grade 11, or maybe it was grade 12. No, it was grade 11. He would make us watch like PETA videos about like the worst things possible. It was like brutal. It was like some weird torture experiment. It was awful. I know. And some girls, like, there were like actual like a vegan people in the room, or vegetarian at the time. I don't think, yeah, not vegan, but vegetarian. Purely because of the animal cruelty. And like why would you do that to because that's so awful, like just in general, but that's so awful. They were just like sobbing, they had to like leave the room, and then he would be like disappointed if you left. Like, what do you mean, dude? They're sobbing. So sad. It's like the weird fixation my English lit teacher had in 9th or 10th grade on how to make the USA be the modern day Rome. How doomed to fall, and it was weird. Why are some teachers, I feel like some teachers just go insane. My French teacher was like crazy. I mean, not, yeah, he was crazy. He meant to retire, but he just kept coming back. And like, he was obsessed with like existentialism. My grade 12 French, literally, we did nothing. I'm not even joking with you. I don't know what we did. We watched movies in French with English subtitles that were messed up, like weird movies that he thought were like weird and also existentialistic. And I don't even remember if we had to write about them afterwards. Maybe? We probably did. Like what the existentialism was about these things. And I'm like, I don't need to know this. As a teenager, I'm depressed. I already hate the world. I don't want to hate it even more. Why are you telling me we're all gonna... Why are you telling me this? Bad stuff. Bad stuff. Okay, back to reading for real. I could go on and on about that French teacher. What if teachers feel their minds break and have to teach? I know, that's what I was thinking. We're getting distracted. I'm very distracted. Say a number between 1 and 10. 3. 3. Please. Okay, where are we? You must be tired and hungry, Nettle. The brown tabby padded out, a rabbit hanging from his jaws. Silt followed, carrying a squirrel.
We'll share our catch with you and you can sleep.
Darktail stopped in front of Violet Kit and leaned so close that his breath washed her muzzle. It smelt of blood. She blinked at him uneasily. She didn't want to stay, but she didn't want to walk home by herself either. Could you take me home now? She asked hopefully. Raven purred softly beside her. You must be exhausted, my dear. She glanced at Darktail, whose gaze was unreadable. Eat with us and rest for a while. Then we'll take you home. Violet Kit woke up. Her heart lurched as she saw pale dawn light seeping between the trees. She sat up, the bracken rustling around her. Raven had made her a bed to rest in after they shared the rabbit. She'd lined it with moss, and it had been so warm and soft, Violet Kit couldn't resist closing her eyes for a moment and dozing for a little while before the rogues took her home. It's dawn! She glanced around. The rogues sprawled in their nests. They'd fallen asleep, too. She leaped from the bracken and crossed the small hollow in the hillside where they had made their camp. She stopped beside Raven. No! Well, at least it was only 3. I was gonna say 7 at first, so I'm glad I changed it to 3. I know! What if I said 6 or 7? Good thing I said 3, though. Girl's getting wasted. She leaped from the bracken and crossed the small hollow in the hillside where they had made their camp. She stopped beside Raven. Wake up! She poked the she-cat with a paw. Raven jerked away, baring her teeth.
Who is it?
She snarled. Violet Kit jumped back, shocked. It's me! We fell asleep. I'm meant to be back at camp. Raven's gaze softened quickly. Oh, you poor thing, she mewed. She got to her paws and stretched. Darktail, she called to the rogue leader, who was still snoring in his nest. His tail twitched. Darktail, she called again. It's time we took Violet Kit back to her camp. Darktail lifted his head and stared at her blearily.
To that time already.
I thought you were going to take me home last night, Violet Kit ventured uneasily.
I guess the fine prey Nettle and Silt caught for us made us sleepier than we expected.
Darktail sat up.
Rain, Roach, wake up!
He called to the sleeping toms.
We're taking Violet Kit home.
Uh-oh. Oh no, are they gonna bring her as like a quote-unquote hostage? Violet Kit watched anxiously as the rogues yawned and stretched. She could see the fiery tip of the sun beyond the forest now. The clan would be waking. What would Pine Nose say when she found her gone? She began to pace. Darktail nodded to Rain and Roach.
You two can come with me. The rest of you stay here.
Violet Kit glanced at Raven. She wanted the kind she-cat to come with them, but she wasn't going to argue with Darktail. He seemed friendly, but there was a darkness that never left his gaze, and it scared her.
Come on.
The rogue leader headed from the camp. Violet Kit followed, Rain and Roach at her heels. The sun was up by the time they reached the bramble wall of the Shadow Clan camp. Mist swirled between the trees. Violet Kit pricked her ears as they neared, her heart sinking as she heard the sounds of the clan preparing to start their day. Needlepaw! Kinkford mewed huskily. Tell Leafpool I need mouse bile. I found another... Oh. Kinkfur, not paw.
Needlepaw, I'll tell Leafpool I need mouse bile. I found another tick near my tail.
Tawny Pelt and Stonewing. Profrost's orders sounded through the chilly air. You'll each lead a hunting party and make sure your apprentices catch something worth eating this time. Crow food doesn't count. Yarrowpaw, Strike Paw, Wasptail sounded cross. You should be out of your nests by now. Crowfrost is organizing the patrols. Darktail's ears pricked. He stopped at the entrance.
Patrols? Apprentices?
He looked intrigued.
It's awfully regimented here, isn't it?
You must not have a lot of freedom. Violet Kit didn't answer. She was straining to hear if anyone was looking for her. Perhaps she'd been lucky. Perhaps Pine Nose and Grassheart hadn't noticed she was missing. She blinked at Darktail. Thanks for bringing me home. Her gaze flitted to Roach and Rain. And thanks for saving me from the owl. She turned, heading for the Dirt Place tunnel so she could slip into camp unnoticed.
Wait.
Darktail's mew sent a chill through her pelt. What? She faced him uneasily.
I want to make sure you don't get in trouble.
Darktail was eyeing the camp entrance. It's okay. Foreboding tightened Violet Kit's belly. What was he planning? I'll be fine. But Darktail was already ducking through the entrance tunnel. Rain nudged Violet Kit after him. Go on, he encouraged. We might as well see you safely into camp. Heart pounding. Oh no! Wait, are they gonna say that Violet Kit brought them there? They already knew where the camp was, but like, now they have a scapegoat saying that Violet Kit purposely brought them there. That's mean. As they emerged into camp, Violet Kit felt the eyes of the clan flash towards her. She wanted to run and hide. What would Rowan Star say? She'd brought rogues into the camp. Darktail marched across the clearing, tail high. Hisses sounded around him. Stonewing arched his back. Spikefur and Snowbird burst from the warrior's den, their eyes wide with shock. Frost pushed through the warriors that were gathered around. Wait, you know what's gonna happen? Wait. Here's my prediction. They're gonna come in, and the apprentices are already kind of like, they're already rebelling against them, right? So they're gonna side with the rogues and be like, we need to be more like them. They're scary. We should be scary like them. They should take over. They should be part of the clan. I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to stand up for the rogues. And they'll be too scared to do anything. And so it'll be like
New Shadow Clan. Yeah, right. Because Darktail has already chased out a clan before. They've already like killed a bunch of people from Sky Clan. I mean, cats. So like, what's another clan? And they already have like a bunch of apprentices on their side potentially. At least Needlepaw and Sleekpaw, and they can get the others because Needlepaw's kind of like the head rebel apprentice. Crazy. Okay, anyways. Stonewing arched his back. Spikefur and Snowbird burst from the warrior's den, their eyes wide with shock. Crowfrost pushed through the warriors that were gathered around him. What are you doing here? He met Darktail in the clearing. Darktail signaled to Rain and Roach with a flick of his tail. They stopped a few paw steps behind. Violet halted between them, her pelt lifting along her spine. I found this kit wandering in the woods, he told Frost. Thought I should bring her home. It's dangerous out there. Spikefur lunged at him, but Darktail batted him away with a swift swipe of his paw. Is that the gratitude you show to a cat who has returned a lost clanmate? The rogue leader sounded hurt. Violet Kit! Vine Nose burst from the nursery, her pelt bristling. Are you okay? Did they harm you? Violet Kit stared at the queen. They looked after me, she whispered hoarsely. What were you doing out in the forest? Pine Nose demanded, her fear sharpening to anger. Needlepaw hurried from the elder's den. Violet Kid, there you are. Did you get lost trying to find the dirt place again? Violet Kid blinked at her, confused. What had happened to the plan for Violet Paw to say that Needlepaw had sent her out? But she's trying to cover for me in a way, Violet Kid thought. Maybe she just changed her mind about how. Kinkfur snorted. Who gets lost finding the dirt place? You only have to follow your nose. Spikefur hissed, growling at Darktail. Why are we talking about the dirt place? These are strangers in our camp. Worse than strangers. Dawnpelt fell in beside Spikefur, flexing her claws. Rogues. What are you doing in our camp? Rowenstar's growl cut through the angry murmuring of his clanmates. The Shadow Clan leader strode across the clearing and stopped a whisker away from Darktail. I brought your kit home. Darktail nodded towards Violet Kit. Violet Kit shrank beneath her pelt as Rowenstar gaze flicked towards her. Darktail went on. I don't understand why you're being so unfriendly. He blinked at Rowenstar with round eyes. We were just trying to help your clan. Rowenstar narrowed his eyes. Like you helped with Wind Clan? Darktail returned his gaze innocently. We were just defending ourselves. We have the right to do that, surely. Rogues have no right to be on clan territory. Spikefur snarled. Sleekpaw patted into the clearing. Why not? Her clanmates jerked their gazes towards her. Why not? Tawnypelt's fur spiked. This is exactly what I predicted. I can't believe you would ask that. They're not clan cats. Yarrowpaw patted to Sleekpaw's side. If they weren't on our territory, they couldn't have rescued Violet Kit. Sleekpaw blinked at her leader. And what would your precious StarClan have said if something had happened to their special cat? Be quiet! Rowenstar glared at the yellow apprentice. Darktail glanced at Rain and Roach. I think we should leave, he meowed calmly. We seem to be causing an argument. He turned towards the entrance. Wait! Rowenstar lifted his chin. We're grateful you returned Violet Kit to us, but you don't belong here. Rain and Roach exchanged amused glances. A patrol will be made sure you leave our land, Rowenstar went on. Tawnypelt, Spikefur, and Dawnpelt. He nodded to his warriors. Go with them and make sure they cross the border. Tawnypelt nodded. Can I come with you? Needlepaw hurried towards her mentor hopefully. Tawnypelt curled her lip. You're looking after the elders, remember? Violet Kit saw anger flash in Needlepaw's eyes. Then she saw the silver apprentice's gaze dart towards Rain. Rain blinked at her, then looked away. He turned and followed Darktail as Roach as they headed for the entrance. Tawnypelt, Dawnpelt, and Squirrelflight hurried after them. Belly hollow with dread, Violet Kit turned to face Rowenstar.
The Shadow Clan leader stared at her, exasperation glittering in his gaze. Hanging her head, Violet prepared for her punishment. Aw. That's not fair! Poor baby kitty. But yeah, okay, so it didn't completely turn out exactly as I thought, but you can see the apprentices starting to push towards it a little bit. They don't like the rogues. The rogues, to be fair, chased out another clan and killed a bunch of people and then lived in their house or their gorge. And then he followed them back home, and then they attacked Wind Clan and then almost killed a cat, and then almost killed another, and then also took a life from their leader. So they're kind of dangerous. They have grounds to not like them. I do need to add a tip. Please rate your delivery. Yes, sir. They're wild clans. They're not part of the clans. That's why they're rogues. They're like just wandering cats that are in a group that are usually offensive. Hi-hole. Yep. Next. I don't care about this. Yeah. I will give them shit. What do you mean? I see. Yeah! Okay, so that's it for today. Chapter 9. Kind of remind me of the, like, samurai. Ooh, really? That's an interesting... I've never heard that comparison done before. What am I gonna do? I'm going to... What are we doing tomorrow? I have to stay a bit later at work tomorrow. But I don't think that's really gonna... If anything, I'll just stream a little bit later. Yeah. Dogs are basically like Ronin, who are masterless samurai who are seen with suspicion, and a blade that will cut. Whoa. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, we're just gonna end it for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. On our funny little Thursday Warrior Cat Wednesday. We will come back tomorrow? Tomorrow maybe. If not tomorrow, Saturday for sure, because it is V-Gala goodbye day. So I think it starts around 2. So we'll be there for the V-Gala. Thank you for the... Wait, why everyone dancing? Was it a boogie woogie? I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So that's what we'll do on Saturday at the very least. One of the 2 people in that ship died. One of the 2 people in the ship died. Oh my god, Koji did a duet with someone. I'm gonna listen to that right now. Okay, bye guys. I'll see you when I see you. Bye. I love you.